Hello everyone, this is Saving, and today I'm making a flowchart to play Touhou Lost Branch of Legends. So, you've probably heard me before if you've watched any of my videos complaining about how infinite loops are way too easy in Lost Branch of Legend. And it's kind of frustrating that the best way to play is pretty repetitive and mostly forces you to ignore most of the cards and actually just pick as few as possible, stuff like that. However, maybe you thought I was exaggerating, or maybe you just didn't realize how deep the rabbit hole goes. And today I want to show exactly how little skill it takes to actually beat the game if you're willing to, um, go to the absolute depths of repetitiveness and anti-fun behavior, basically. So I'm warning you now. This is some cursed knowledge kind of shit. If you watch this, you're never going to be able to look at it around the same way again. At least I wasn't. Uh, and you're definitely not gonna be able to look at Sakuya A the same way again, because Sakuya A is the easiest way to get an actual loop, like I mentioned, and you just basically play it normally. Sakuya A does tend to be one of the weaker characters, and yet once you do the flowchart basically that I'm about to show you, she actually just becomes the unbeatably strongest 100% consistency game winning strat. Just absolutely impossible to lose. And yeah, every time I play Sakuya normally now, I'm like, I could be looping and this would be a win, but I don't want to loop. And yeah, that's pretty much my problem. So I am going to share that knowledge with the world. So yeah, let's hop into run. Same as usual. Lunatic 7, Hidden Fate. No actual mods other than quality of life, like the A-Ring always has a starting bonus stuff. Although, not that it matters for this one, because the flowchart starts with always picking 100 money. So, as mentioned, uh, the game is basically going to get played on flowchart. Starting bonus, always 100 money. Don't have to think, just pick it up, that's it. Our routing is going to be priority number 1, go to shops. Priority number 2, avoid elites. So for example, here we have a shop and an elite, and because we need to go to the shop, we are going to fight the elite. But if this path, for example, had a shop instead of a gap, we would have gone top path and avoided the elite on the third fight. And lastly, you do like getting events because very often they can have card removals and stuff like that. And speaking of which, on this path we're going to be avoiding the elite, so we're only gonna fight one elite on this route. So yeah, I'll get to the rest of this once we actually see some card rewards and get to the shops and stuff. And yeah, as usual, you pick the red pill. It's just like objectively better, in my opinion. Like, I say in my opinion and objectively because I realize I can be wrong, but I really don't think I am. Yeah, at the start you just mostly play normally. The strategy here is mostly related to deck building and routing macro play rather than micro play in fights. In fights you just play as usual. Try to be optimal with your choices and take as little damage as possible. But there's not really like anything special. At least for now. Like, later on, you basically have to be careful with sequencing on the loops and stuff, but for now, you just play normally. Try to take as little damage as possible. Conserve your HP, because if you get forced into elite fights, that can easily be the part of the game that ends up ruining you. It's like this elite, for example, we're gonna have a spell card, so we're likely to do just fine, but this could probably be the most dangerous part of the run, like possibly the only risk point. Everything else seems completely guaranteed. So, card awards. You're looking specifically to fulfill 3 themes. That is, 1 big block card, 2 card draw cards that interact with knives. So that is something like Play with Water, which discards knives, Travel Preparation, the Sakuya card that discards a card, and if it's a knife, you upgrade your hand, stuff like that. And a third priority would be basically card upgrades and mana efficiency. Like, you need 1 mana generator at a minimum, something like Short Break, and then just upgrades so you can, reduce the cost of the knives by upgrading them. Because if you don't know, upgrading knife makes it go from 2 to 1. You're not really going to be casting them a lot, like you're mostly going to be discarding them. But the idea is, if you ever need to play them to make hand space, you need the upgrades. So yeah, I guess it's better to say 4 priorities. That is 2 card draws that interact with knives, a big block card, mana generation. I guess mana generation is more important than the block, but you need all 4 of them anyway. So yeah, mana generation and an upgrade source. Now, here, we don't have any of those, so just be disciplined. If you see none of those, unless it's an extremely specific circumstance, you just skip. However, in here, we do have Devour History, which is basically a free removal, and we already want to remove, so we're definitely taking this. So yeah, that was kind of lucky. We got an early removal, and we can just work with that. Don't sacrifice HP for it for no reason though. Like, just keep trying to conserve your HP. You'll be able to play it eventually. Because like, we took 3 damage there. If we didn't, if we'd played this into like maybe a boundary, that would have been 13, which is a lot more. And yeah, HP is a resource. You can sacrifice HP if it gives you an advantage on a turn, but in this case, we really don't need to. Yeah, same here. I can just block for 20, take no damage. And this turn she's not attacking, so I can go ahead and knife her. Shoot twice. And now that she's at 4 HP, maybe we get lucky and we get something to finish her off, and also play the... Sadly not. However, we can actually just, let me check. Yeah, you have Danger Foretold, we have a Shoot here. We have plenty of options to have lethal if necessary, or block if we can't actually hurt her. Yeah, just conserve your HP. Okay, now that's so if I just block, I'm taking 4. Is 4 HP worth sacrificing? She won't have the shield next turn, so yeah, even a Shoot kills her. The misdirection knives don't though. Yeah, my 2 mana attacks cost white, so I'm not gonna be able to play them along the Devour. So yeah, just... it's a shame, but don't sacrifice HP if it's unnecessary. Just don't. Okay, so Ship's Phantom is a possible option here. However, I wouldn't pick this as a mana generating option until you actually get the card draw that you want, because the card draw is the most important part. And like we're going to have mana generating options eventually anyway, so we're going to be fine. But yeah, Ship's Phantom is possibly one of those. But as I mentioned, you don't see any of the 4 things you wanted. You just skip. Ship's Phantom's technically one, but right now we can't really generate mana with it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and skip. Worst case, I'm accumulating money for the shop where I'll be able to find something better. Basically, we could have actually just picked it. It would have been fine, but he didn't want to commit when I'm not sure which card draw spells I'm going to be using yet. Well, which card draw cards, I guess. Kinda used to calling them spells. So, same as usual. I am going to go ahead and try to kill the pink Kadama first, because this one frails us, this one weakens, and yeah. The idea here is, if this thing dies, I can... Yeah, I blocked this one with less effort, but in the end I just get to do this first. So, removals. Basically, you have the priorities, which are obviously first you remove any misfortunes or stuff like that that's in your deck that was added by events or something like that. Second, you start removing your attacks. First the misdirections, then the shoots, then bouncing knives, finally the danger for tolls, and assuming you had enough removals you would remove the boundaries, but you're unlikely to actually ever get to this. Just remember, misdirections first, shoot second, bouncing knives third, and then dangers foretold. That's all the, like, you're never going to get past that pretty much. And if you do, you've likely already won anyway. So yeah, we only draft those things. We always remove the specific card that fits the current moment. This is 22, this is 24, so we are actually just going to take 1 damage here. I guess I should have used the knife, because it got blocked anyway. There's very small amounts of damage taken. So we see the cards. Peak Perfection, as mentioned, also works as kind of a card draw option, but we need the discard. Kind of regret not having picked it up now, because with this and the previous one, News Fabrication could have been the mana source and just already win on its own. In fact, I'm really just considering picking Peak Perfection here. But I want to show... Okay, so I think the correct play would have been to pick the previous one and pick Peak Perfection here. But I want to show off the simplest possible way to do this, just to show how absolutely easy it is. So we don't make speculative picks, we just go for the easy, absolutely free stuff. So yeah, we see Play with Water here, we pick it up. This is also non-committal when it comes to mana generation, because once upgraded, it costs like colorless mana. You can pay with any color. So you're not committing to needing blue mana generation. So yeah, this is a good pick. You remove every shop no matter what. So yeah, we're removing this direction here. And yeah, nothing else that fits our other options. However, we do have Devour History here. This was first removal, so 75 for the next one, which means Devour History here leaves us with enough money that a single combat will guaranteed get us to the 75. So we can actually pick this up as an extra removal. Boss selection. So we got lucky here, and we got Reimu. Reimu is going to be your preference 100% of the time. technically the second best if you don't have Reimu, because there's 4 possible bosses now. So the second best is Marisa, but Marisa is a lot harder to beat. Mostly because Marisa's exhibits and cards are better. So since she's harder to beat, I think the simplest thing, again, I'm going to mention the easiest possible way where you can't possibly fail no matter what. So yeah, if you don't have Reimu, you just fight Koichi. Doesn't matter if Marisa is better, just take 0 risks. Koichi is probably the easiest fight in the game. Reimu is just, a much better option here. Because she's still extremely easy for this style of play, while also giving you insanely good cards and exhibits. So yeah, pick Reimu here. If you pick Koichi, doesn't matter. On both cases, once you beat Act 1, you pick the character exhibit. You don't pick any of the other options, you simply click on the character exhibit. Doesn't matter which one it is, you just pick it. Yeah, in our case, we're picking Reimu here. And as mentioned, we want to go to the shop. So we're going to start here because it's a more open path. We get free money, which is definitely very good. Hopefully this isn't the rabbit and doll fight, but eventually it always happens. Okay, so this is the kind of fight where I would actually not mind sacrificing some HP in order to, avoid the rabbit trickster taking my money. However, can't really sack too much because we're fighting an elite later. So yeah, that could be dangerous. Let's start with play with water here. So what do you get? Not great. Okay, so I do want to make sure my knives end up going to this. Yeah, this is just 16 damage. Don't really like this right now, but I guess I'll go ahead and just block as much as I can. Hopefully she buffs herself turn 2, so we can actually attack here. Not at all. Okay, so we have 6 cards here, so if we play with water, next turn we'll make an extra knife. And now we can discard one of ours. That means we want a danger foretold as well. And since we won't have mana for another defense, that's like 3 mana. So I can just go ahead and do bouncing knives here. And now I've basically guaranteed that all of the knives will go on the trickster. Yeah, I'm going to be taking 3 damage here. And I'm going to draw here just to discard knife and to get closer to emptying my draw pile. And going back for the next knife from the exhibit. Which is going to be the plan in the endgame, basically. So I don't want to get my knives right now, because I have minus firepower. So this is perfect moment for Devour History, I feel like. Okay, so we've already gotten rid of our 2 mana attacks. We start with shoots. Should I draw anyway, though? I'm gonna do it anyway. Worst case, like, if I discard them, they go to my discard pile, and I'll draw them again eventually anyway. I just want to make as many as possible. Yeah. Yeah, next turn I'm gonna have enough damage to kill the trickster. And my spirit's going to be at -5 anyway, so this blocking this was not a very likely option regardless. So yeah, let's draw. Give me a second. If we draw a knife, we're gonna overdraw by 1. So let's do bouncing knives first. And now this thing is guaranteed dead. I just realized that bouncing knives doesn't really help with not overdrawing, but whatever. Yeah, we overdrew by 1. Block for 5, try and minimize the damage even before taking a bet here. Yeah, we have enough block with this, so we draw, keep getting more knives, full block, and shoot. We're going to be taking 3, maybe 5 more damage because of the poison. That should be it. Took 3, and I think we can just finish this combat right now. Yeah. Took a bit of damage, like more than I wanted to, but still. Okay, so guard up is actually one of the big block cards I've mentioned before. This is 24 block when upgraded, and your block isn't lost at the start of your next turn. This is basically your way to make infinite block on Seija, and also it's a big block card, so that means you can start accumulating block and actually survive Remelia's attacks, because Remelia is the one thing that stops looping, like infinite loops. So this acts as a Remelia safeguard. So yeah, absolutely picking guard up here, which does mean we kind of want white mana generation most likely. So what do you call it? Short break should be a pretty good one. However, the discard one also works now that we have play with water. So yeah. But we might be looking for, you know, white mana generation, and the I think it was called Deja Vu, the card that puts a card on top, like on top of your draw pile, and then draws your card. Okay, so as usual, we remove here, and we get rid of the shoot. And with our remaining money, we do have enough money for one of the things we wanted, number 4, which is a source of upgrades. So yeah, we're going to be buying Wandering Heaven here, and depending on how much money we get on the Elite, we might actually end up going to a gap here to upgrade Wandering Heaven. However, since the shop is actually just, you know, on the non-elite route, we might go to the shop anyway. Maybe we'll have 50 to upgrade a card for money on the shop rather than on the gap. Yeah, we pick up Wandering Heaven. This is basically the way that you get your entire deck upgraded for free, plus also you get to upgrade your knives so they cost less when you want to make hand space. Okay. As for ring, we'll just, you know, well, with this hand we're just gonna accumulate 23 block, I guess. This yeah, this would be 5 normally, however because of the long night we can't actually do this together. And we have Killing Doll here. So I could technically wait, upgrade Bouncing Knives, get lock on, all the stuff, but just do this turn 1. You get the damage you want, and it goes on her. Otherwise, if you do turn 2, the knives just go on the spirits, and they get to ignore you. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and draw to create more knives. Sadly, we are going to, you know, kind of waste them a bit because of the this, but we do get to do one thing here, which is upgrade our bouncing knives, so we can start dealing a lot more damage to ring. Although these knives are just going to kill one of the spirits, but that means the detonation is guaranteed to hit one of the other ones, which will leave only one spirit alive and make ring not detonate turn 2, possibly not even attack us. We only took 2 damage here. Okay, she will attack us. And yeah, as usual, do I draw? I'm super likely to hit a boundary. Yeah, I can draw just fine. Worst case, instead of guard up plus boundary, I'll just danger portal twice. Actually, that's not possible because I'm going to spend my blue, but you know. Yeah, we hit a boundary. It was basically guaranteed. Throw away the knife. And Yeah. Could just having foretold from our block, but we block enough, so this conserves 3 block for next turn technically. Okay, we just keep going. Draw more cards. Throw away the knives. This is enough block for the explosion that we're going to get from the Vengeful Spirit. We want to use our blue mana here because we want the double white for bouncing knives here. So yeah, this knife got upgraded, which means the 10 damage is going to kill the blue spirit here. And then the bouncing knives here is applying lock on, and the other 3 knives are going to go on ring. Which leaves her extremely low. And we can probably just kill her this turn, ignore the spell card. Not with this kind of draw, but it's fine. Just, Warring Heaven on the guard up. 36 block. And because she explodes a spirit, she doesn't have Grace this turn. Because if somehow you're watching this and you don't know, if Ring has no spirits when she uses her spell card, she'll just gain 3 Grace. We discard knives, play bouncing knives, and the fight is over. Honestly, I don't even think we needed the spell card in the end, and we lost like 2 HP. So, as you can see, it's very, very consistent already. Just a single draw card, and we're already getting a bunch of very, very quick knives. If we had our second draw card on our mana generation, we're going to be going infinite on like Act 1. Ibuki Gourd is, the tips is going to be useful for damage. The rest of this is probably not going to matter. And as mentioned, I did find Deja Vu. This does count as a draw card that interacts with knives, because you put them on top of the deck, the knives deal damage because they lock your hand, and then you redraw them and they replenish, draws you extra cards. So yeah, this is pretty much like able to beat Reimu 100% of the time. All we care about now is getting some mana source to go infinite, but at this point we just play our good cards over and over, and we beat any Act 1 threat we can find. As usual, we take the high-tech glasses, because we need them to go for Seija. And because this offers me a path with both the shop that avoids an elite and the gap in case I actually need it for the upgrade, I'm going to go here and go to the event rather than do this path. But yeah, if you don't want to make decisions here, you just follow the flowchart and you go to the shop, ignore everything else. Doesn't matter that you don't have money for removal. You just go to the shop, upgrade your Wandering Heaven maybe you find the mana source, and you avoid the elite, because those are the only possible pain points. And yeah, that's about it. But because I mostly know what I'm doing, yeah, I can easily just make some deviations sometimes. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, this strategy is courtesy of Soapy, a very, very active member of the Discord for Lost Branch of Legend, who is, kinda infamous rather than famous for enjoying looping strategies quite a lot. But yeah, she pioneered this basically guaranteed wing strategy, and yeah, thought I'd mention that. With that said though, let's go back to the game. So if I play with water, I don't think I can actually draw the knife I just generated, right? I can actually. Perfect. I'm just gonna discard it though. Yeah, as I mentioned, just avoid taking damage for no reason. We upgrade Danger Foretold here to make it so we can play it with colorless. Deja Vu on Throwing Knife. Deals some extra damage. Sadly, we drew the Dark Residue, but that's like -2 HP. We're drawing so much that she doesn't even have Lunacy yet, and we have already found it. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate, but we do Bouncing Knives and just play the knife instead, I guess. Yeah, we don't need to actually take any damage here. Deja Vu, by the way, is technically free card draw as long as you can use the colorless mana. So it gives you back a mana, so yeah. Yeah, just get rid of Dark Residue. I could just guard up here, so I'm going to go ahead and play with water. Discard a knife. Free damage from the Deja Vu. And guard up will keep some block for later. And we're getting 2 more knives. And next turn, I think we are very likely to win this fight now. Yeah, this should be a win now, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Tipsy. Bouncing Knives. And just playing both knives, and it's a fight. Okay, so Room Cleaning is both card draw and the source of upgrades. So it is technically a possible pick here. However, we already have our source of upgrades and we already have our 2 card draw. Now, if we follow the flowchart, we have our 2 card draw cards. We can just ignore this Room Cleaning completely. However, because this is a draw 2 and this is a draw 2, sometimes there's a tiny chance of breaking if you like this is draw 3 plus draw 2, so there's a tiny chance of breaking sometimes. So Room Cleaning here would actually be a possible pick. However, as I mentioned, I'm going for the zero thought, just go for the simplest possible thing. So I'm absolutely not picking anything other than a mana generator at this point. So yeah. The goal, by the way, is to get the 11 cards here down to below 10, like 10 or lower, once you've actually got all the parts that you need. So yeah. Room Cleaning, technically a possible pick still, to avoid possible breaks, and also as a secondary sort of upgrades. But again, I want to just show off the simplest possible way to do this, and the flowchart says that we are done with both card draw and upgrade sources already, so we just skip. As usual, like this is like worst case. I can literally just give the exhibit back. So yeah, I'm probably just going to give the sunflower back. We don't really need it. And the Bookie Gourd is slightly better right now, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and do the shop here. I don't have a spell card, so doing an elite might actually be a risk. If it's Aya, for example. Actually, both of them are pretty dangerous because we've done Ring. So this is either Aya or 3 Fairs of Light. And both of those put a lot of garbage into your deck, which means this wouldn't be able to loop consistently. Yeah, we go to Takana's shop. Okay, Tea Brewing here, by the way, is a possible option for your card draw. However, it's a pretty bad one. You already have you only have 2 blue mana, so this consumes all your blue mana, and also this doesn't interact with knives in any way, shape, or form, because just draws you cards. You don't discard, you don't put anything back. It just doesn't help at all. So yeah, not really an option for us. Card removal is too expensive here, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is upgrade the Wandering Heaven. Make sure we have our infinite upgrades, and we're going off into the last fight of the act before the boss, and its bats, which should be pretty easy. Then we just block. Okay, that is pretty much the strongest turn that you can see in this game at this point. But yeah, wandering having into guard up just that's fine. I would deja vu here to draw. Actually, I was going to say I don't want to because I'm going to exile the knife after drawing it, but I generated a new one anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So yeah, wandering having. Oh, I spent both white on the auto tapper, so if I do this now, I can't guard up. So just block. It's fine. Take no damage. Draw the knife later. Whatever. This is probably slower than it needs to be, but if you just want to go for the simplest possible path, this is probably it anyway. So yeah. 21 plus 11 is 32, so if I tipsy here, I can knife the bottom one. The passive damage from this knife will actually finish it off, and I get to just block the top bat and get rid of one of them. Yeah, now we start drawing cards. So let's do play with water first, so I can actually just possibly draw knives. I didn't, but oh well. Since this is already upgraded, I'm just gonna do it now. Unfortunate. Yeah, we just keep blocking, that's fine. Once you've got your deck upgraded, or if you just want to go for the safest possible play, one thing you can do is just, instead of playing Heaven, just spam guard up every turn, and every single point of block you get is going to stay in your, like, I guess in your life or forever. Yeah, we just 23 damage. So Wandering Heaven plus Danger Foretold is enough to block, which means I'm happy to do Heaven now, upgrade both knives as well, Deja Vu for extra damage, and Danger Foretold. And that wasn't really necessary because these knives are going to kill the bats, but you know, just no thoughts head empty, just do the obvious simple stuff, even if you don't do it perfectly. As long as you have discipline with card picks, eventually you're going to reach the end goal, which is the free infinite loop, basically. We full block, deal some damage, and the knife here ends it. And we found our mana generation. So for us, white is perfectly fine as mana generation because this spends white, and this upgrades to colorless. So now we literally just have to remove 2 cards, and we've won. Like we could actually just beat Seija at that point. So yeah, short break, and again, simplest stuff, absolutely zero risk. You already have your source of upgrades here, so just heal. It's fine. You probably don't need it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to take like 0 damage, or very little if I take any. But, you know, no thoughts, just do the simplest shit ever. It's fine, you're gonna win anyway. Doesn't actually take skill to win with this strategy. That's literally the reason it was created. So yeah, my most important upgrade is probably short break, so that it doesn't end my turn. So I am going to draw first right now, because, you know, Reimu's not attacking this turn anyway. And we do find short break, so I can get rid of the eviction order. Upgrade everything. Now short break gives us radiance, and I even get to, you know, keep drawing some cards for free and conserve my block for next turn. So we've already blocked for next turn. At this point, Reimu's not going to damage us this turn. And if you just do this every turn, you've already won. Yes, short break. We upgrade another draw card, and this doing it this way also gets this extra mana because we're going to upgrade the Radiance. Discard the knife, so it stays in our deck. And sadly, we didn't get to the guard up. So yeah, this is the issue with having more than 10 cards. You still are able to break. We don't get guard up, so we're not going to be able to keep all our block for next turn. But still, we'll be able to play the guard up next turn instead and just do the same thing, just in a different way. So yeah, we're just going to kill one of the orbs. You do want to kill the red orb here, because otherwise it just scales way faster than Reimu for some reason. But yeah, as mentioned, just deja vu the knives, get the free upgrades, guard up for block, and you already have half of the block you need next turn. Short break for mana. I don't need it right now, so I'm gonna play with water. Maybe we can upgrade it. Ideally, discard the upgraded knives for 2 reasons. 1, they deal more damage. 2, they leave the unupgraded ones in hand, so you can upgrade those later, ideally. In this case, it's not gonna happen, but you know, that's the idea behind the choice. Let's just go ahead and spend the tipsy. At this point, it's just clogging our hand, honestly, more than helping. Like, we're going to get it on like 2 throwing knives and that's it, but whatever. And yeah, just gonna spend the Radiance so I take 0 damage. Otherwise I would have taken 1. And I want to show off that I could have actually taken 0. I could have walked in here with literally 1 HP and gotten out just fine, just for reference. So yeah, deja vu on the knife. This process to cards. We Wandering Heaven. And card up. Now we just keep drawing, it's fine. Short break. So I can do bouncing knives here just for extra damage. And throw the knife. So yeah, once our deck is below 12 cards, the game is over. We just draw here, we got to the card up, perfect. I'm gonna discard Eviction Order instead of one of the knives, because I'm going to deja vu the knives. Just for the extra damage. We're making knives so fast at this point anyway, that it doesn't really matter that we exile some of them, so whatever. Wandering Heaven, just for free, because it upgrades our Radiance. Guard up, and just, you know, double knife just for extra damage so we can finish this fight a little bit faster. But we have 60 block, we're keeping like 25 for next turn. It is still possible to break though, as you can see, so that's where you want to play the guard up every time you have it available. Worst case, we do still have our killing doll heal here to kill one of the orbs if necessary, but I really don't think it's ever going to come to that. So play the short break if you're going to reshuffle your draw pile, so you can draw it again. It is mana after all. So yeah, now we might redraw it. We didn't, but yeah, it's the idea. Deja vu on the knife. Actually, let's upgrade first. This for the extra damage. Short break again. And yeah, we get to just play the small one and throwing knife for some extra damage. Because we keep like 28 block here. Kill the red orb. And like, yeah, this is 32, this is 8, so 40 damage. But, you know, we can block the entire thing. And we didn't draw guard up anyway, so it was going to be wasted block regardless. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just play the card up, so maybe it reshuffles and I can draw it immediately. Because if I do draw it immediately, you can accumulate this buff. Basically the retain block buff. You can just keep regaining more and more levels of it to make it so in a single turn you're already a retaining block for several turns. However, we didn't get lucky, so we just kill the orb, unblock enough for this turn. And we keep 23 for the spell card turn, where again we have our card up here. I'm gonna go ahead and bouncing knives just so I have 2 knives to juggle here. But it's not necessary, it just wanted the extra damage to finish this fight faster. And we card up, we block. Just keep replaying guard up, keep blocking. At this point, I think not a single one of our cards costs blue mana. Because, yeah, all of our blue cards upgrade to colorless, so the blue mana is basically colorless, you can just play whatever. And finally, we get to upgrade the bouncing knives with Wandering Heaven, which means this might actually go decently faster. 67 mana, 67 block, we get to retain it. Oh no, we can't attack, whatever will we do? Just keep looping knives, I guess. We drew the card up, that's perfect. So we've already blocked for next turn now. Yeah, just upgrade, getting as much block as possible, hit Reimu. Get the short break, play the Radiance because I know I'm gonna need the hand space anyway. We don't Reimu for the lock-on, even though right now it's not going to target her. This orb is already dead. Didn't draw card up, so we just block as much as we can. And this is going to kill one of the orbs, deal a lot of damage to the other one. And yeah, unspace, card draw. Just rinse and repeat. Again, because I want to deja vu the knives. First though, yes. Yeah, because I want to deja vu the knives, I don't tend to discard them right now. Eventually you'll discard them, it's fine. Bouncing knives here kills the bottom orb. And we spend the Radiance just so we have enough mana for all our block. We keep 10 for next turn for the 42 damage spell card. And with short break here, we've basically got way more mana than we could ever want. Let's start with Wandering Heaven, so I can deja vu the knife. Can I actually just do bouncing? I can actually. So, Radiance, bouncing, deja vu. Right, only 2, sorry. And we get to guard up. Don't really keep that much block for next turn, but still block the Fantasy Seal entirely. The safer play would just be to focus on blocking and on the knives. What I'm doing is basically just for a faster fight, not actually optimal, technically. Upgrade the knives on the Radiance. This is going to be 20 damage with Deja Vu. And we get to guard up here. Right up to the bouncing knives too. Okay, so yeah, the safer play is just guard up. You can do whatever. But I do believe this is enough damage. This is like 32. And then 16, so that's 48 plus 4 damage from the lock-on. Yeah, that is good enough. 11 and 7, exact lethal. We took literally 0 damage, as mentioned. So yeah. Again, as also mentioned beforehand, you pick up the Bloodthirsty Ginger Orb. That is it. You just pick whatever you get there, you pick it. Doesn't matter. So, Lost in Paradise and Jinjin Confluence are both cards that could technically go into the deck. Lost in Paradise lets you do some really degenerate stuff once you've got no more basics left. And worst case, it can copy like one of your card draws if you need to. But, you know, it's just an option. And Jinjin Confluence as well. Once upgraded, it's a solid defensive option and exiles a lot of your deck, so you actually get below 10 cards much faster. But again, we go the simple way. We skip here because it doesn't fit what we're looking for. And what we're looking for at this point is honestly just removing our cards, because we've basically already won. But yeah, we go to the shop. This is the only shop path. Don't even need to think, just go to the shop. Okay, so yeah, guard up, sword break. We keep 2 block and get the radiance. Okay, this fight might actually give us trouble because it does put Lars into our deck, which will slow us down. The lack of any statuses, by the way, is one of the reasons why Reimu's so absolutely easy as an option for this deck. You don't have to worry about any statuses. You basically just get to, you know, do the entire thing for free. Okay, this Deja Vu is going to be a ton of damage on the bottom one. Nope, the top one sadly. But oh well, doesn't really matter that much. And this already kills the top one, so we just focus on blocking. Be safe. Just we could play the knife for more damage, but this way we have 25 lock next turn, which means we are already taking no damage. Well, we were taking 1 damage until until we lost lock on, I guess. For reference, by the way, you can technically just get cards that exile cards, so like Purify the Land, stuff like that. To reduce your number below 10, but not only did we get really lucky with removals on this run, it is also like a risk, because the more cards you need to play before the deck's below 10, the easier it is to possibly break the turn 1. So yeah, it is still a risk to buy those. It's just, you know, an option. The best one, by a landslide, would obviously be Sakuya's special one, the one that exiles 2 cards, has Echo, and costs 0 on upgrade and gives you knives. So yeah, that, Changeling Magic someone. So Changeling Magic would be the best option for that. But again, ideally you just don't have to worry about that. You just play, well, I was going to say normally, but this is anything but normal play. But yeah, you just follow the flowchart, keep going ahead. Just block, deal damage, things will take care of themselves on their own. We drew the Wandering Heaven, which is absolutely amazing. So we get to just upgrade entire hand here. I'm going to go ahead and do this just so the fight ends faster. Bouncing knives into the Deja Vu. And this will die this turn. We play guard up and boundary. This would still be full block regardless, but now we also don't have to worry about the stone. The keystone, by the way, is one of the most dangerous enemies, because we got very lucky with our deck. But if your deck's like slightly suboptimal, the -4 damage means your knives are doing like 2 damage per hit, and eventually it gets the lightning thing that reflects damage. static charge. So yeah, that is actually a kind of dangerous, unexpectedly dangerous enemy to face. And we do this, Wandering Heaven, upgrade the knives, and we have the Radiance anyway. And this is easily enough damage. Like, look at how overkill this is. It has 2 lock-on, and I have 4 11 damage knives. Yeah, this would be enough to one-shot it from full health anyway. So for reference, Lunar Cycle is another option for your big block card, because you can loop it with other cards since it draws. But we already have card up, so we don't have to worry about any of this. We just skip. The only thing this run requires is discipline. Okay, so our blue mana is basically worthless, so converting it to Philo is extremely useful. Yeah, the only thing you need is discipline. If you have discipline and you follow the flowchart, you don't actually need any sort of skill, thought, or consideration. You just remove cards, etc., etc. So flowchart, by the way, says that we're removing bouncing knives here. I think if I remove bouncing knives right now, the fights will take so long I'll have an aneurysm. So I'm going to be removing the danger portals just so the video isn't like 2,000 hours long. But yeah, the bouncing knives was the priority now. However, just for the sake of speeding this up a bit, because we've basically already gone infinite, I'm going to be removing the danger portals first. But remember, the knife was technically the better option, the correct option. Also, the Buki Gourd is so inconsequential that this feels like the correct call. So yeah. By the way, one thing that you can do to deviate from the flowchart here, if you were low on HP, for example, because you weren't as lucky as I was, and you didn't get to optimize your deck as much, so these fights were pretty rough. Maybe the shop with 2 combats in front is too rough, so you can go to a gap and an event, because the event lets you basically avoid a combat. However, in our case, we're just extremely powerful right now, we don't really care. So this is probably the second most dangerous enemy here. However, we do still have guard up, so guard up should be able to get us through this regardless. I'm gonna go ahead and weaken Deja Vu here, because Deja Vu is technically free, so the guard up costs 4, and this puts it down to 3 mana. But it exiles Long Night because it's our second card, so we're not gonna actually have any trouble. We do get our Wandering Heaven here. And actually getting Wandering Heaven means that I can just play it to upgrade my entire hand, and Short Break won't end my turn anymore, so I get to just keep 36 block for later. So yeah, right now this is probably the last point of danger in the run, if at all, because I'm not really sure it's a point of danger. We're just going to go and kill the Trickster ASAP. Okay, so the only thing we'd be upgrading here is the knife, which means +4 damage. Just throwing the knife to the rabbit is more damage than that. Yeah, we just want to get the rabbit so it doesn't debuff us and doesn't take our money away. Once we do that, guard up should allow us to, just be completely fine regardless. And yeah, this is just enough block. Technically, if this draws the Wandering Heaven, I think that's more damage, because it upgrades our knives to 5 damage each. It's the same damage actually, so I do this first. I did draw the Wandering Heaven, and I'm going to just discard whatever, because I also drew a knife, so this is actually more damage. So yeah, worst case we had the same damage, best case, which is what happened, we actually did more. And as you can see, we have so much block from the card up, we don't even need to defend ourselves right now. But we will, regardless. Sadly, it didn't draw any damage, but thankfully it won't matter. We have enough block for next turn. Rabbit will die to any damage at all, any knife, anything else. Just bouncing knives here. Into Play with Water could draw us the guard up, so because that's the most important thing here, I'm going to do it first. And if not, if we hadn't gotten the guard up, I would have played Wandering Heaven to upgrade the knives. But because we did, we just play guard up. We keep not giving a shit. We don't have the firepower debuffs anymore, so now the knives will actually do some damage. So yeah, we go ahead and upgrade, and let's just, rush this down a bit. We don't have guard up, we don't get to play guard up because we actually upgrade the knives first, but we have so much block, and I just want to get the fox dealt with. If I take some damage because which I don't because I have guard up here. If I took some damage because of it, too bad. My bad decisions caused that. But yeah, we get to just Wandering Heaven into guard up here. Upgrade knives, 16 damage. And at this point she's slow enough that maybe I can just, bouncing knives into actually playing the knives to finish the fight. And at this point we've won the round. That is it. There is nothing here that could ever actually threaten us. You can take Ascension Kick here if you want, just to finish the fights faster. Again, this basically doesn't count as a card because it's a 0 mana card that draws, so this doesn't really increase our cards in a way. Because if that's the card we see, we just play it and we draw. Still, the better option is not to take it unless you're below 10. If you're not familiar with the deck, whatever. I'm going to take it again because I just want to finish the fights before I grow old. Okay, as usual, focus on safety. We're actually going to be taking like 2 damage here, but it's mostly fine. It's not an amount of damage worth using the spell card for. And at this point we should be mostly fine. Play with Water is one of our less important upgrades, so I'm going to do it first so Wandering Heaven hits what he draws instead. Ascension Kick, and yeah, this is absolutely massive, and the fight is basically over. For all intents and purposes, fight is over. Got our Radiance, keep drawing, and using our knives. The skills of that. Guard up does even more block, and we don't have to worry. Actually, I probably should have counted, because I'll admit it, it was dumb luck that I didn't actually take any damage there. Apparently I only had 1 block left. But yeah, it's when you can actually just play absent-mindedly and the game plays itself anyway, it should be obvious to see that, the round's already over. This bat's going to die to the knives, thanks to the extra firepower. So most often in here you still have to, actually play a bit and think a bit about what you're doing. We did get very lucky in this run to remove everything quite as fast as we did. But, the principle's the same, just be disciplined. Technically, you could be in a worse situation than I am right now if you were the one playing, and you didn't get as lucky. But we've had both spell cards stacked for like the entire act. We have full HP, so even if you were in an extremely bad situation in comparison, should be obvious enough that you're still like the difference between what you're doing and like between the run you're playing and this run would have to be absolutely humongous to actually matter enough to be a loss. Like this is already a guaranteed win. Doesn't really matter. Now that we have the Ascension kick, I am actually going to remove bouncing knives as I mentioned. We are at 11, which I believe means that if we get lucky redrawing Deja Vu and play with water, we actually do go infinite now. Speaking of which, who's the boss? Because okay, Jujiko is going to be free. Megumu is technically a threat, because she puts a lot of garbage in your deck. However, very often you can just at this point of the fight, you're generally just so close, if not true infinite, on turn 1 that you can just destroy her turn 1 anyway, not have to worry about it mostly. Okay, Wandering Heavens, exactly what I wanted. Upgrade my cards, short break, into the card up. Your upgrades here are pretty much the most important thing at this point. So once we have our upgrades, the deck just works on its own. As mentioned, the static charge can be a problem. Because this is 37 against 36, so we normally wouldn't need to do anything, but the throwing knife is going to hit this. So let's go ahead and spend our mana to gain more block. We're going to retain it anyway, so it's not like it's wasted. And hopefully now we'll actually... let's upgrade our Deja Vu so he can actually draw 2 cards. Not great cards, honestly. Yeah, the glares are being like a slight problem. We should definitely just try and kill the Keystone actively rather than just letting the knives exile at this point. Otherwise, we might actually run into trouble eventually. Worst case though, you always have the spell card. But yeah, we don't really need it. And that should be good enough. Just card up, knife the Keystone. And I guess we draw, because we have mana anyway. We want to spend it. Just spending the radiances so we can play cards to actually finish the fight faster at this point. Okay, we're actually going to take damage. We've almost finished the fight, but the glares and stuff have technically slowed us down enough. Still, we took like 6, and we're going to heal 3 of those once the fight is over, so, By the way, I mean the Jinjang Orb is going to heal us 3 when we kill the butterfly. Playing that for hunt space. This has been kinda longer than Ramus fight at this point, it feels like. Okay, here's our knife. How much HP? 49. I'm just gonna discard the knife. We need to actually like actually juggle them to deal more damage over our turns. Sadly, not gonna be able to juggle this one. That's enough block, and we don't conserve it anyway. So let's play it. Let's play the knife to deal damage. Okay, and this should finally be it. 21 each, kills the butterfly. And it was a very boring fight, but eventually we got through it as mentioned. Swing machine, Tengu's camera, neither of this is relevant, so I'm just going to take the Tengu's camera because it will help us finish fight faster. We still go, again, shops, avoiding elites if possible. And I'm doing a vent here just for this. Again, be disciplined. What you care about is removal. The upgrades will take care of themselves once you have your upgrade source. I'm sorry, Kagasa, I'm punching you in the face. Oh hey, that's what I just did in Touhou UFO, which I beat yesterday. And as usual, we just keep doing the same thing over and over. We're actually gonna take some damage here, of 5 specifically. However, if we don't take any more damage before killing the drones, we'll be completely fine. So this is actually a lot of them. That's 30, 52. I'm blocking for 50. I'd say that's enough. Worst case, I can spellcard later. Discard knife, ascension kick, and the upgrade, because we have our radiance here for the wind mana. Let's play the short break. And at this point we kill the bottom purifier while conserving about a trillion block, and the fight is over. This kind of situation, by the way, is exactly why you might want a bit more draw to avoid bricks. So you might have noticed, sometimes if we draw our card draw too far apart, the chain kind of breaks. and we're not really looping anymore. Sakuya here, because we are one card up from what we should be. But regardless, this is just, you know, a one run regardless. So yeah, this is 6 plus 5, not counting the radiance. And yeah, this is 11, and the ascension kick is -1, so 10. So you can actually infinite loop here if you get lucky enough with the draws to have enough cards in hand. But even if you're not infinite, like, you can't lose at this point. 105 block, playing guard up every turn. Okay, so this is actually one of the exceptions. Faithful Meditation, if you manage to get Reimu as a boss, is actually one of the few cards that you actually do add to the deck. Not only does it instantly upgrade your cards, your knives, it also upgrades your, the short break, the radiance from the short break. Because I'm kind of torn at this point between picking it is just the faster choice, actually ends this run a lot sooner. But I kind of wanted to show the pure flowchart experience. Okay, you can pick it up. I'm going to skip it just so you know, just to show that you don't need your rares, you don't need your garbage. You just remove cards, play, you know, your one uncommon and just like 3 commons. Well, 2 uncommons, I guess, because of the short break. But yeah, you don't really need anything else. That's another Devour history. Jeez, we've gotten really lucky with this. Okay, remember when I mentioned your big block card? Silver Dimension is actually another of your options. Because you just get to accumulate a ton of barrier off of knives. We already have ours, so we're not actually buying it. But if you see Silver Dimension, that can be your good block card. Because the knives are going to be a ton of block. Like when this is upgraded, each knife is going to be 2 barrier every time you activate it. You're going to activate it several times with like Deja Vu, Play with Water, stuff like that. So yeah, Silver Dimension is one of the options. In our case, however, we just remove Danger Foretold, fight of our history. So, like, we can even play it upgraded thanks to Wandering Heaven to remove the last Danger Foretold. Let's go ahead and upgrade what we have because Deja Vu is generally much better once it's upgraded. So, block, add some mana. And we do find Wandering Heaven here, which is absolutely amazing. Our history for the last Danger Foretold, and we're officially at 9 cards. It doesn't remove the Danger Foretold from combat, by the way. We still have one here. Oh yeah, we still have it there. We don't have it in the deck anymore, but it is in our draw pile still. But like at this point it doesn't really matter. We're going to be fine this combat, and after that we are truly infinite. Block as much as we can, get the radiance, go ahead and just keep on looping. But yeah, as you saw, obviously I did get pretty lucky with the what do you call it, the Devour Histories, but at no point in this run did I actually have to do any effort. Sadly can't upgrade, but I need the upgrade on Short Break anyway. And I just full block here while keeping about just as much block, even more actually. Okay, we are getting cleansing our deck though, so I do want to rush the fight a little bit if I can. Because the enemies that put trashing our deck like this, those do actually hurt us. Well, against them, generally try to discard the knives so you actually get to, replay them, redraw them next turn, rather than just exile them now. The idea being, if your deck has a bigger knife density, you're more likely to draw the knives and less likely to draw the statuses. This is going to be huge. Just Deja Vu. Want to upgrade the knives after an Ascension kick. And this is one of the drones down, finally. We don't get to keep our block this turn, but you know. Let's go ahead and beat the Kappa before the Scouter, because the Kappa doesn't heal anyway. She repairs the Scouter, but she doesn't heal herself. So if we beat her first, we have a much easier time later. Didn't draw knife, sadly. Yeah, absolutely no damage in this hand. But we don't need damage to just block. And the knives will come eventually. Speaking of which, I just play with... okay, let's first make some hand space actually. Now play with water. Discard a knife. And... yeah. That is one Kappa down. Not only the repair, by the way, like the Gloomy Kappa specifically, if you kill both her drones, she starts hitting you decently hard every turn. Just attacks every turn no matter what. So you also want to avoid that if you can. But yeah, just block, block, block. We'll get our knives eventually. We have two right here. Let's make some hand space. We don't need the mana anyway at this point, so... just keep spooning, glancing our deck. It keeps not mattering, even if it is goddamn annoying. And as soon as we find that last knife, which is here, the fight is over. Again, disciplined. Don't take anything. Yeah, we're full HP, we don't really need to heal. Seeing as how Deja Vu is often something we use early on, we just upgrade this. Make sure we can use it to find the Wandering Heaven, or just to get us extra cards for Wandering Heaven to upgrade. Speaking of which... oh, that reminds me, I should probably upgrade Short Break, huh? Short Break is the card that needs the upgrade the earliest, because it ends our turn if we don't have the token stuff. I mean, if we don't have it upgraded, ends our turn on getting the ratings. As you can see, we are now infinite, and this is also, by the way, why you want the upgrades, so you can spend your excess mana on 1 mana knives, which will get you hand space. So otherwise, hand space is an issue. But as you can see, we are doing just fine here. Yeah, we actually ran out of. Yeah, I probably sequenced something wrong at this point, and you do have to be a bit careful at this point because of the like throwing knives and the hand space. Hand space. Once we remove both boundaries, we don't even have to worry about that, so we'll be fine by then. Just to make sure we finish this faster, though, I am going to actually spellcard Yuyuku and play both of the knives we get. As you can see, she's 22 HP, so at the end of turn 1, even after, misplaying, because I definitely sequenced something badly, otherwise we would have already won. And that actually sends it. Yeah, let's just pick up the Bolt Soul, or yeah, Bolt Soul's generally going to be the best one because it gives you enough money to always go to the shops, keep removing your stuff. Time Walk is a broken off card that excels itself, that you can actually pick it here, because we have or Wandering Heaven. If you don't have a consistent source of upgrades though, Time Walk is actually not ideal, because if you sometimes it puts you in awkward positions turn 1. But yeah, Time Walk is one of those exception cards where you do actually pick it if you find it. Just 2 mana extra turn. Just make sure you are able to set up for free turn 1. One thing I forgot to mention too, one exile card can actually be good just because it does get rid of the eviction order. So that is one of the options as well for cards you can pick. But again, as you probably realize by now, you can actually just follow the flowchart and not have to worry about anything. Yeah, we just Wandering Heaven here into the short break and the Time Walk. Actually, don't even need to Time Walk yet. We might just go infinite now without Time Walking. Okay, no, sadly not. So yeah, let's Time Walk. And at this point, the fight is basically over. You just, if you want to make sure you always have the hand space. Technically, you can accumulate the radiances if you play carefully, but just play them, it's fine. I'm pretty sure I missequenced again, or maybe we just don't have enough draw because we only have a draw 3 and a draw 2. But certainly close enough to an infinite to not matter at this point. Oh, that's the issue. If we play the short break for mana, and we also play the Ascension Kick, eventually the Ascension Kick might draw the short break. So yeah, we should only play short break and Ascension Kick once we have both of our draw cards in hand. I'm pretty sure that's the issue. That way we are guaranteed that the draw cards will hit, obviously, the cards that are there, but also each other. Yeah, that was the issue there. Finally realized now that I saw it. Yeah, sequencing is honestly going to be the most difficult part of this once you've set up. But if you remove enough cards, you don't really have to worry about that anymore either. Well, you always have to worry about sequencing, at least a bit, I guess. Because you do need hand space for, like, you have to get rid of knives sometimes for hand space, stuff like that, so... But still, not a big worry at all. Let's go ahead and deja vu. And we found the short break, which means we get to Wandering Heaven, play short break, play our time walk. Love letters are actually, you know, a bit of an issue here, because they are a waste of mana that we are forced to do. But, you know, guard up, boundary, -1. And technically, if you just go infinite here, you just kill her even with this damage, but obviously it's not so simple considering that you have still 4 love letters in here. We draw the short break though. I can go ahead and upgrade here. And yeah, Radiance, guard up, love letter, boundary. So that's another -1. We have plenty of time, so I'm just making sure I don't take damage before I worry about anything else. As you can see, we're completely fine. Since I already have enough luck, I'm just gonna get rid of 2 love letters this turn. And next turn we should be able to just go off, finally. Turns out we weren't, because I still drew the love letter, and that -1 draw was kind of relevant. Notice how either of the cards I could have drawn would have kept drawing more cards. So yeah, that broke the chain for us, but it's fine. This turn, she just dies guaranteed. So remember, you do need hand space here. So I'm going to draw Ascension Kick and some of these. So if you draw too many knives together, that can screw you over. So that's why you want to upgrade them and stuff. Just for hand space. And yes, as you can see there, we could have drawn the short break at this point and actually broken the chain again, but we've basically already like done enough. None of what we're looking for, so we skip. I actually will remember this time to block first. Not that I had any other plans, considering I wanted to upgrade the short break anyway. But you know. Oh, rather unfortunate. I found my time walk, but I don't have mana to play it. Or it would be unfortunate if I hadn't drawn short break. I don't have blue. Whatever. I can just walk. It's fine. Not only will I have enough luck for this turn, but also for the speedster next turn. But yeah, this, by the way, is exactly the kind of situation I was talking about when I said the time walk is technically slightly like it can technically make you break a bit sometimes. Like you draw it when you don't have enough mana to play it, and it actually can become an issue. But for situations like this, it's good anyway, because you know we gotta fight through the newspapers that they put in our deck too. So whatever. Some power newspapers are pretty strong. Actually, I should have played the Radiance and played the last newspaper there. I am plentiful on mana and I just technically wasted card draw. Discipline, again, don't pick what you don't need. Otherwise, you might get bricks like I did with the time walk back then. Yeah, we are actually going to get to remove all our basic scenes. Yeah, that's boundary out. And we keep moving along. By the way, that reminds me. Oh, our boss is Remilia, so I'll be able to show off how the card up also insulates us from that, which is great. Yeah, none of these are ever relevant to the chain swap for the Act 4, and we're going to the event path because it allows us to hit up a shop with one less combat. At this point, we just want to avoid combats just to finish faster. Doesn't matter what this is, just don't take it. There's no need to take a misfortune you can't remove. Psychedelics, sun removal, just ignore this. It's fine. Could have taken the path to Remilia there instantly, but you know, I want to remove my last boundary. I would play with water, except that means we can't time walk, so yeah. So yeah, as you can see, there's throwing knife here. 2 draw cards here. So no matter what, play with water will get us a draw card. So at this point, it's fine to do short break for the mana, and then we play with water. But as you can see, we are going to need hand space after this. So Ascension Kick, because it draws anyway. And this is the point where you actually need to play your knives. So I think I might actually have... Okay, play with water is guaranteed here, so I can actually just do this with no fear. For break, Wandering Heaven, play 2 of these, and the Radiance, and then Deja Vu the other ones, just for the extra damage. And you draw the play with water anyway. And now you have 1 here, 3 here, but one of them replenishes. So you play with water just to make sure you have all your cards. And since we got an extra knife, we do want again to make hand space. So we play the knife, play the Ascension to draw our play with water, and just to make sure now that we have 1 and 1 that replenishes, so we have plenty of space. Now is when we can actually upgrade our play with water. So short break, Wandering Heaven. Now we have the upgraded Radiance, and play with water no longer costs blue, which was being a limiting factor a moment ago. So yeah, we can just make hand space, play with water to recover everything, and at this point we are actually just infinite. Not that it matters because we've already won the fight. And yeah, technically, like, play with water helps us not break like that, but you know, this discipline, just don't pick cards you don't need. It could technically work, but there's no need to overcomplicate it. Just keep doing the easy stuff. Honestly, I don't even need the bar history anymore. Even though, you know, apparently I'm finding 2,000 of them. Because I'm just gonna remove boundary here. And at that point, the entire deck is, you know, is infinite. If somehow you didn't find the guard up on time, stuff like that, Crimson Energy Release is actually a good one as well. Even more considering, you know, we do have our Ascension Kick here. So that is plenty useful, thanks to the extra firepower. This could give us just a ton of welcome barrier. But again, not necessary. Don't complicate things when you don't need to. We've done our removal, we leave the fight, we move on. This is probably the hardest fight in the game for us right now. Because if we do get charmed, that might actually cause issues. But as you can see, like from our starting hand, we're already gonna have our Time Walk. We have our last 2 cards here. This is just going to be completely free regardless. Here we upgrade for the short break, but it doesn't matter, we already have our Time Walk here. In fact, while keeping 2 mana for Time Walk just in case, I'm going to try and start looping already. I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah, this feels like it's already over. Making hand space, drawing our cards. Just our usual extremely relaxed adventure. Whether we like it or not. Yeah, like you can see, even with 1 less removal, we were already very much infinite. And at this point, we don't even want to actually play our Time Walk, because we'll take some damage of the poison. But yeah, we don't really care. This is just Radiance, Deja Vu on these, and the knives just kill. We could have just done the turn, they would have killed anyway. Yeah, no need for second short break, just skip, be disciplined, don't take anything you don't need. As long as you maintain your discipline, you absolutely don't need any skill, you just need discipline and the flowchart. Watch, doesn't matter, we're not gonna add any more cards to our deck. Carcass on the other hand, could get us, you know, an easy upgrade. So we just take it. Could easily just upgrade our short break on our starting hand, which would be quite nice. I'm going to keep going to shops and avoiding elites just, you know, for the just to show off how it works, but never say just mastering. It's just not worth it. 50 money for an outcome you can't control that is only halfway helpful, and sometimes even is negative outright. It's not worth it. Okay, with this hand, I do actually think Time Walk here is the option, and I'm actually glad I got it. Yeah, Ascension Kick and play with water. And at this point, we've already won. Wandering Heaven, upgrades Short Break, and that is it. We are infinite. Wandering Heaven upgrades the Radiance. Team has enough mana for both this and the to make hand space and the card draw. I'm gonna just discard the new knife because if I can just play these ones, I don't have to worry quite as much about hand space and mana efficiency. Play the Radiance, Ascension Kick. If you're not ever not sure, just check. We're gonna draw 3, so we can. This draws 3, so and this doesn't count because it has replenished. So yeah, we can just short break without issues. Play the Radiance, play the knife, and keep doing our thing. Could have played the upgraded knife if I was worried about my mana. Yeah, this is why you want hand space, obviously. Wandering Heaven, Radiance, Knife, Knife. This is free. Remember, as long as you're fine with the colorless, but the fight is already over. Actually, I do think I'm going to get one last removaling. And that is the fact that Remilia, the fact that Remy actually cuts us off once we've played enough cards means that the Ascension Kick can actually be negative here. So this is going to make it much slower to actually finish our fight, sadly. But I'm going to go ahead and remove it because it's the optimal play. Even though it will make our fight slower, it guarantees our infinite against Remy as well. And let's pick up the robot model instead. That's too firepower. Permanent. Okay, so this is gonna be like 20 instances of damage no matter what. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and probably not talk for the rest of this. This kind of situation, by the way, is why the faithful, what was it? Faithful meditation, I think it was called. Basically, the card that um, upgrades your created cards when you create them. This is the kind of situation where it was actually good. Just avoids the issues with having to play Wandering Heaven in the middle of the loops. You just play Faithful Meditation once, it exiles itself because it's an ability, and you don't have to worry anymore about anything. You just they just all come pre-upgraded, Radiance included, and that is it. Don't need to actually bother with any sort of complication. Instead, we have to juggle this sometimes, but it is what it is. As I mentioned, this is the price to pay for a guaranteed victory. You have to be willing to do shit like this. Oh, should have played the short break first. Yeah, sequencing once you've already won does get kinda boring, which means you might actually make mistakes because you're not paying attention and stuff. But again, if it's a mistake, it's your fault. Just don't make mistakes, it's easy. There we go. Four spaces, I have plenty. This, by the way, is another reason why red Sakuya, thanks to the Reimu exhibit, can be pretty good. If we find the thing that gives our knives auto exile, that is it. We just never break again. Much easier, a lot, like completely zero effort. Don't have to think at all. Actually, I can just end my turn at this point. So if we find the ability that makes our knives auto exile, we won't have to worry about this. Which hopefully Remy will give us after we beat her. But as you can see, we got through the entirety of Act 3. I don't think we ever took a single point of damage. And I literally said what I was gonna do before I started the run. That's how consistent this is. So yeah. It's pretty bullshit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, Time Walk is great against Remy thanks to the kind of this stuff. And then they just at this point, by the way, you don't really have to worry about the short break. You're very likely to just have enough mana regardless because of the fact that you're only playing 5 cards anyway. Discard a knife. With 2 cards, so Deja Vu these 2. I'm gonna draw a bunch of them now. And I just get to play guard up, keep my block, and the knives take care of this. Another card, by the way, that just could help with this, just makes this a lot faster to is Deflation World. Just basically play like guard up twice, Deflation World once on turn 1, and then just 2 Deflation Worlds should just kill Remelie on turn 2. But yeah, don't really have to worry about it if you don't want to. You can just take the easy path, which is this. Yes, it was better not to discard anything. I was just kinda bored out on my mind. This, by the way, is why I called this Cursed Knowledge. Because I kinda wish I didn't know about it. Because it just completely trivializes the game, as you can see. Like, what the hell, man? I'm not even making an effort, still destroying Remy. Who is supposed to be the anti-looping enemy. You know? That's how dumb this is. We did get weakened, so this is going to take even fucking longer. But yeah, we can't lose, so doesn't matter how long it takes. Let's just Wandering Heaven first, I guess. And our last card is going to be Guard Up, as mentioned. Hunger block. Good luck getting through that, Remy. Could literally pass the turn next turn and you still wouldn't do it. And finally, next turn we're going to stop being weakened too. Yep. Do this. Get back to our play with water. Play with water. Get back to our Deja Vu. Wandering Heaven to upgrade the knives to deal more damage. And also because we have enough mana for Wandering Heaven and Guard Up. So we are basically gaining 36 block every turn. And there we go. Just to make it so the turns where she's not attacking, we eventually accumulate enough block to not really care. Actually, I guess I can just probably Wandering Heaven like second. Yeah. There we go. Going to guard up right after this, but we don't really need to because the knives will actually just put her below half health, which means she's going to go into her rage mode. Yep, Scarlet Devil. She gains Flawless this turn, gains Vampire, gains some firepower. Doesn't really matter, she still hasn't touched us. Like, just to be safe, like, this is the safe play, by the way, if you wanna just take 0 risk. Guard up first, Deja Vu second. Oh, play with water third. Then Deja Vu once more. And you finish with the guard up for 48 block per turn and 2 turns of retain block. So yeah, that is the safe play against Remy. And she actually presents a challenge this time, 23 times 4. So we are going to be taking 92 damage, technically. One, two, three. Four. And 5. So yeah, 48 block per turn, considering Remy has off turns where she's not attacking. is just way too much block for her, which means we don't really ever have to worry about anything. I believe I've just made a tiny mistake in sequencing that might cost me some damage. Yeah, I don't get to play Deja Vu twice this time, because I had both in hand and I started to play with water, but whatever. Still taking no damage. Still having the knives do damage. And after the Gangnir, she goes into the defensive thing anyway again, which means we get to just, do all of this regardless. Yeah, I think this was not a sequencing mistake, but rather just how the draws happen to line up in this specific case. Yeah, technically she keeps gaining firepower, so eventually she will outscale us, but we can outrace her easily with the loop. Despite the fact that our knives are dealing absolutely no goddamn damage. We do have our spell card, which I'll probably use, honestly. Just to be sure I'm fine. Right, let's use it now, I think. This is 108. No, I need to guard up. I was thinking of using it and then playing Wandering Heaven to upgrade the knives it generates. But even like this, I'm going to be taking 5 damage here, so I'm gonna wait one turn just in case. Yeah, this turn she's doing 32 times 2. But at this point, I do believe I'm close enough to killing her to just do this. This is 34. The knives are gonna be dealing... how much? 14, I think? No, 12? 12. Might not actually be enough this time, huh? And I am frail. Okay, maybe I am a bit too slow. Maybe I should have gotten the kick. I don't know. Regardless, let's go ahead and play our guard ups. Yeah, this is the kind of place where having the faithful meditation could have actually been great. Yes, so we could actually raise her and stuff. So 18 times 4. Am I actually dead? No way. No way I die on the guaranteed wing, right? This is... oh, I thought this was over 100 for some reason. This is just 72, which is still more than I can block, reasonably. Yeah, let's go ahead and do... knife. For the grace. Upgrade him. For Deja Vu. And at this point we just go into Deja Vu loop. And this will actually be enough damage, I believe. So 12. Yeah, 12 times 6. So I upgrade my hand. Sorry, 12 times 5. And that is enough damage to kill her. Okay, so I did get kinda close, but I, to be fair, was doing the literal minimum, like 0 brain thing, trying my hardest not to actually deviate at all from the flowchart. I still killed Remy, who is the absolute hardest counter. So yeah, like the fact that this is as consistent as it is means that even if you find Remy, you're going to be basically in a very similar situation. It's basically impossible to lose. And yeah, I guess we still have Sage to destroy. So let's pick up the Onisaka dish, just, you know, so we can win faster, I guess. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to get the Evil Orbs just for kill speed. But yeah, none of these is necessary or anything. I'm going to, like, the flowchart basically says pick nothing here. I'm going to get orbs just so I can finish the fight faster. Just when she has 300 HP left, I'm going to orb her. And that's it. But yeah, just as you can see, didn't actually need any thought put into the combat. I guess the last turn had some thought. Had to actually worry about whether I make it or not, but yeah, this is just going to pick up things just to end the fight faster here, as I mentioned. Because at this point, we've already not gonna bother upgrading orbs because it's going to be retaining our hand, so we're just gonna upgrade it with the Wandering Heaven automatically. And as far as Sage goes, her exhibits are Bow, Charm, and Teapot. The Teapot and the Charm literally have no impact. If she does roll the bow, you're still going to be dealing 300 damage turn 1. You're basically guaranteed to deal 300 turn 2 anyway. And because she doesn't create, what do you call it? She can't make the Purify misfortunes with the bow until she has her second item. The misfortunes are going to be ethereal unless you get a glare. Even if you get a glare, at this point you have so many removals that one glare is not going to screw you. So you're completely fine to just keep going. And so you deal 300 damage turns 1, 2, and 3. And on turn 4, you only need to deal 150. So even if she gets the item that keeps you from drawing or costs you HP, you're going to have like 60 plus HP to use. So that is 30 draws, which is plenty enough to actually deal that much damage to Seiya. So yeah, it should just have absolutely no problem at all. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Because we're going to time walk anyway, I'm not quite as worried about looking, just get rid of Long Night and start dealing damage. Get our upgrades and stuff. Well, actually, I can just get the free one here. Radiance, and yeah. In fact, in our case, if we were worried about turn 3, we could literally just save our time walk until then. In fact, now I have no other choice because I forgot I needed blue to play it. And okay, I did make a mistake here. Quite a big one too. I was very, very much distracted. Still, even with that, we're going to be dealing 100 this turn, I guess then. I'm going to take one extra turn, goddammit. No. Okay, got distracted like an idiot. Let's actually focus a bit, because otherwise I might actually end up losing. First off, draw a second knife. Not like this. Here we go. And I get to time walk now. Don't stop worrying. Let's have him just for the extra damage. And yeah, I get to time walk. and get it out of my hand before it actually becomes an issue. Because I did make a mistake and I don't want to repeat it. So let's just go ahead and do that. But yeah, actual loop, well, short break, having radiance, and you draw. And because this doesn't cost mana, you can actually gain mana with this by going short break, deja vu, and at this point you short break again. Wandering Heaven for both the block you need against Seija and to upgrade your entire hand. You make hand space, play the card up just for block, you draw, and restart the loop. Except I shouldn't have played the card up because I'm an idiot. But we were going to waste one turn anyway because of the mistake I made with not putting her below 900. So it doesn't matter this time. Yeah, I keep making mistakes because I'm not paying attention. Again, the guide is foolproof when it comes to sequencing. I mean to deck building. It is not foolproof when it comes to playing. And if you've seen any of my videos ever, you know I play like a goddamn moron when I'm distracted. So, actual thinking, 1, 2, 0 here. So I can actually guard up and deja vu these knives. Okay, and now one here. So I need the hand space, but I'm going to draw 3, which means I get to Wandering Heaven to make these cheaper. And then draw. And now I actually get to short break this for free. Short break again. Play with water. Upgrade for mana efficiency. Get radiance. Rid of this. I need a lot of hand space, it seems. So that is 3, 4, and the knife 5. So I can actually go deja vu just fine. Except I only draw 2 cards. I keep making these mistakes. And this isn't enough damage. I'm gonna have to waste the Evilest Orbs at this point, it seems. Actually, is it enough to get it below 600? Because that's the only thing that matters. That is 46. And 69. Not good enough. This is what happens when you don't pay attention to what you're doing. Doesn't matter. We got the cup second. The only thing that could ever screw us even in the slightest bit is the what do you call it? The other thing. Fuck. The anti-draw. I don't remember what it was called, but the one that keeps you from drawing cards. This into deja vu. So we're gonna draw 3. So short break, deja vu, and Wandering Heaven. So I can do this. Upgrade, radiance, make hand space. And I'm going to full draw this time. Not make a mistake this time. Yeah. And now I have 1. And I can draw a second, so I play the short break. And I have to deja vu now. not to Wandering Heaven. Yeah, that's the issue with the more draws your draw cards get you, the more mistakes you're like allowed to make, basically. But with only draw twos, the deck is actually slightly finicky. You actually have to think about what you're doing. And yeah, this is just short break. And I'm going to take a little bit of damage here, but that's fine. I've been generating mana. After this, I'll start generating block instead. And Wandering Heaven. And yeah, 1, 2. And this is going to be number 3 this time. Just for the extra block. So yeah, if we had picked the Faithful Meditation, we wouldn't have to actually think about all this. We wouldn't even have to have the Wandering Heaven. I would have just removed it. But again, no rares needed, no thoughts at empty. You can win with the flowchart, even if you are constantly fucking this up. Like I am. So long as you actually follow the steps you need to when you're actually executing the loop. Should have played Short Break, I think. Yeah, should have played Short Break for mana efficiency. This would have already been upgraded. But whatever, we're gonna make hand space and just draw. And at this point, the knives don't matter anymore. We're just generating block. 6 times 8 is 48. So let's get a little bit more, just, you know, just in case. Just so we can not get chipped next turn for free. Yeah, if you wanted to, you could technically just go infinite block, infinite mana, all that stuff, and just play your knives infinite times. So you would have the temporary firepower from the Onisaki dish. Really not necessary. I'm gonna draw 3, which means Short Break, Wandering Heaven. Need to play with water. Make hand space. Draw 2. I have a lot of knives already. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3, possibly 4. But the Deja Vu is not going to be in hand, so I think that's fine. Yep, that was fine. And now I get to do Short Break, Heaven for mana efficiency as mentioned. And just make hand space. We have these 3 that we're going to draw, so we need 4 spaces. That means we could actually do it now, because yeah, just to show it, we can do it now, because once I do this, it's going to shuffle another knife. So I'm going to draw 4, and this is going to be -1. I'm at 7, so -1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Well, the knife stayed in the bottom of the deck because I didn't draw it, but it is the thing that's left. And since Deja Vu only draws 2, I want to make sure I'm not fucking this up. Let's play the knife too, just in case. Could have just counted, but this is faster. Not counting and just playing the card is faster. And as usual, we have these 2 and the Wandering Heaven we're about to play. And we had to just play our mana, and the mana keeps going up. Yeah, this is just basically it. Make hand space, keep drawing. Fight is over. and this is good enough. And we overkilled her anyway, and yeah, that is the cursed knowledge. It just doesn't fail. It can't fail. I went for literally the simplest version with Time Walk and Hack Racing Stores just picked up, so I could completely ignore half of the wasted time I would have just throwing knives. In the end, they actually made me make mistakes, so yeah. Just two commons, like 3 commons, sorry, and 2 uncommons, and you've won the game. Extremely skill intensive, very luck dependent. Just, yeah. The loop sequencing is slightly hard to get right at first, but as you can see, there's just absolutely no thought put into it. You just loop or whatever. Even Remy doesn't get to beat you up. Like, we went for the absolute minimalist setup. We still beat Remy. Anything at all that goes a little bit harder, like the Faithless Meditation we found, any source of our like exhibit firepower from the elites. Because I kept avoiding elites, but like I could have easily just killed them because I was infinite anyway. But yeah, even the minimalist setup beats Remilia, who's the hard counter. So you can imagine what it does to pretty much everything else. I hope you enjoyed this, because you're definitely not gonna enjoy White Sakuya ever again. But if you've ever wanted to just, if you're like a normal or easy player and you ever wanted to just know what it felt like to win Lunatic 7, it's that easy, folks. Literally just follow the flowchart, ignore everything else, win the game. Hope you had a good one. I'll see you for the next video, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever. Bye bye.